what I've been reading. I'm going to go through two books. The first one is Multiverse by M.A. Rothman, and the second one is Get Rich or Die Lying by Charlemagne the God. Starting off with Multiverse by M.A. Rothman. I stumbled across this book accidentally, or as fate would have it, scrolling Twitter one day, and I follow a lot of writers and writing related content there, and it's one of the first times where a thumbnail image of a book really caught my attention. And I wonder if I retweeted it or saved it, or if there's some way that I guess I could probably go on M.A. Rothman's Twitter and search for it, but I forget what it was about the image that caught my eye, but it did. And to the point where I immediately downloaded the audiobook for it. Shout out to Audible for making things so seamless, and decided to give it a shot. Now, ironically, it's not what I'd normally be into. I've written a science fiction novel myself about time travel, Fractal, a time travel tale, available now at spuntoday.com/books or wherever you get your books. But you can definitely find all the links for it there. But I say ironically because I enjoy writing fiction, but what I read mostly is nonfiction. But I have always wanted a fiction series, if you will, to get into, like a deep series, similar to how, you find a TV show that you're into and you wind up binge watching a few seasons. I want to do that version with books, and I may have found it with Multiverse by M.A. Rothman, but I'll definitely let you all know about that if it comes to fruition. And going back to what I said before, something that I learned from taking Walter Mosley's masterclass is that every creative is different. Every writer is different. They say that comparison is the thief of joy, because we get caught up in, I'm not writing as much as this person or like that person, so on and so forth. You'll be fucking miserable and depressed. And we all battle with imposter syndrome and should I be writing? Am I a writer? But points like this one that Walter Mosley makes gives me solace when it comes to that, which is that he started writing for the very first time when he was 34 years old. He's now in his early 70s, and since he's published 60 books, and he mentioned that he didn't read a lot, close to at all. And he's an accomplished writer, 60 books in and of itself, but also one of his books, at least that I know of, which I saw the movie of, The Devil in Wears a Blue Dress, or The Devil in the Blue Dress, was made into a movie starring Denzel Washington. So he's no slouch writer. And then you have folks on the other side of the spectrum, like Stephen King, for example, who's also a prolific writer and has a famous quote stating that you have to read a ton, especially within the genre that you want to write in, because those are your tools, that's your arsenal, that's your what feeds your writing muscle, which also has logic to it in and of itself. But I mentioned those two just to outline that spectrum of type of writer, both successful in their own rights, but have very different origin stories, if you will, when it comes to writing. But yeah, the first book was very engaging. I ran right through it, audiobook wise. I really enjoyed the characters that M.A. Rothman created. It is part of a deeper, I think, at least 4-book series. So I'm gonna check out the second one, let you guys know what I think about that. But the story had to do with the professor that discovers a form of time travel in his university lab, and the secret society that tries to control things in essence and go back and prevent things from occurring, and they fail in multiple timelines, so they relive it and have multiple chances at the same thing. That was really, really interesting the way he put it together. I'm not doing it justice in my little recap, but mainly wanted to share just to highlight the giving new books a chance and new writers that you may have never heard of a chance. You might be pleasantly surprised. And the book again is called Multiverse by M.A. Rothman. Oh, and I actually forgot to give you guys the synopsis of the book. When Michael Solomon woke up Tuesday morning, he did so with a smile, knowing that today would be a positive turning point in his career. With his first child on the way, he couldn't shake the feeling that something bad was about to happen. As he drives into work, he feels a sudden wave of anguish wash over him, and he sees himself alone at the gravesite of an unborn daughter. It feels like a crystal clear memory, a waking nightmare that nearly sends him crashing into the car in front of him. The idea of faster than light particles has been a part of science fiction lore for 50 years. Yet Michael had made a breakthrough discovery late last night. Tachyons do exist. Going back into the office, he hasn't even had a chance to tell anyone about what he's discovered when the men from DARPA came calling. The entirety of his research has suddenly become an object of national security, but it was only when a young college student intercepts him as he gets into his car that he knows that life he's looking forward to is over. The student has memories of her future self, a future where she's worked with Michael on extending his research. She knows things that he's only thought of as possibilities, and she speaks of them as if they'd already happened. And most chilling of all, she speaks of a future where they are both in hiding from the government that sees them as the enemy. Multiverse is a story about a scientist who discovers a way to pierce the veil of time and space and has unwittingly opened Pandora's box. Is it even possible to undo what a future version of yourself has done? Or is everyone doomed to the chaos that's been loosed on the world? And the book name again is Multiverse, a techno thriller by M.A. Rothman, and I'll link to it in the episode notes for folks to check out.